Hey now, welcome back friends to the Dave DY Show. Another installment coming at you. This one's pretty exciting. It's pre-2020 in Tokyo. Have you followed the Olympics? We all follow the Olympics. Pretty much, I think most people do, one sport or another, and one season or another, meaning winter or summer. Summer's my favorite, of course. I grew up in the winter. I love winter. I love hockey. I like ice. I like skiing. I like the ski jump. But summer's the bomb. It's coming up 2020, so there's a lot of stuff going on right now in the summer sport arena in qualifying globally and nationally. The women's national championships just occurred. And Simone Biles, the 22, 23, I don't think 24, 22, 23, maybe 24, I think 22-year-old Simone Biles from the 2010 games, 2010, 2016, 2020. That's like, it seems typical anymore for sprinters, for gymnasts, for swimmers. Michael Phelps, 847 medals, 787 gold. Simone Biles is now the Michael Jordan or the Michael Phelps or the Tiger Woods of gymnastics. She is the GOAT. The greatest of all time. I think she made some kind of comeback, meaning she laid off for a while. So here's my view on the sport of gymnastics, which I've watched my whole life. And if you watch it now, it's Tim Daggett, who was one of the men's gymnasts in the time of Kurt Thomas, right around there and after, the 80s, 90s. Kurt Thomas, one of the prolific men's gymnasts. And my brother and I, John, watched that prolifically growing up. We watched Kurt Thomas. Kurt Thomas invented a move on the floor exercise, on the parallel bars, on the pommel horse. He called it the Thomas Flare. Damn it, man! Stay! I'm having fucking camera issues. He called it the Thomas Flare. And in the Thomas Flare, you flare your legs out, which it's self-descriptive, and stand and actually balance on the palms of your now rigid arms that are fully stretched. And then you actually spin on the floor or on the pommel or on the parallel bars. I think he did it on the parallel bars. I could be completely wrong. It's more of like on a parallel bar where they do a center and then they go into a planche. Where they spread their legs out and then they go into a handstand. But Tim Daggett did not equal, but had specific exercises on certain equipment. So on specific, and I can't right now, I'm drawing a blank because I'm 50, whatever they call it when you talk about a specific, apparatus. Daggett was great, I think, on the high bar, the single bar for men. I think he had a great routine on the high bar. I don't know what else. I don't think rings, floor, I don't know. Tim Daggett was exceptional. Well, he does all the commentary. And there's an American-born Russian now. And her name is Nastya Lukin. Nastya trained and worked right out where Tracy and I lived in Highlands Ranch, Colorado, at a gym, gymnastics gym there, right up the street from us. Pretty prolific. And during, I think, 2010 or 2016, she was called as an alternate. She was selected as an alternate for the team. And actually, in the team competition, there are 5 gymnasts. They just changed that this year, down to 4 gymnasts. So the International Federation of Gymnastics, IFG, whatever it's called, now your team in 2020 in Tokyo is going to be 4 gymnasts instead of 5, which it's always been 5. The Fab 5 or whatever, you had all the girls in 2010, 2016 in Rio, right? and Simone was one of them. And you had Ellie Reisman, and you had Little Smirky, whatever her name is. Can't remember right now because I'm old. But Nastia Lukin did not compete as part of the team, but as an individual, even an alternate, you can compete on one of the apparatus. And I think Nastia was exceptional on the unparalleled bars, the women's. So, and you know how they spread them now? So they're like 8 miles apart, and then they do all of the connected combination moves in between the two. And she was exceptional on that, and I think she got a medal, a silver maybe. Nastia Lukin, she was very good. Her father, Lukin, was one of the Russian gymnasts who was exceptional, and I think had gold medals on the Ruski team that was the Soviet team. And they defected, or she defected, or she's over here, and she speaks great English, and she's American, I think. Maybe she was born over there and they defected here. But she's a commentator for women's, and she's awesome. They blew her hair out on this last one. The whole point of this, oh God, you long-winded son of a gun. Simone Biles has about 4 signature moves named after her. And if you don't know gymnastics, when you create a new move and that new move is performed in international competition and it's performed through the entire move, you don't fall, you don't step out of bounds, you don't do some kind of penalized 0.3 of a point deduction or whatever major, then they quantify that move as your move and they name it. And there are, I think right now, 4 Biles moves. On the balance beam, she performed a move where she did a double back, 2 flips backwards, and 2 twists. That's called a double-double. She did that as a dismount off the balance beam. No one ever thought that was possible. No one ever thought that was possible. Have they made changes to the balance beam? I don't know. Have they made changes to the height of it? I don't know. I don't know if there's any minor intricacies that the balance beam, oh God, sorry, my nose itches, had made to it where that allowed that, but she did a double-double. Double backflip, double twist. Well, on the floor exercise, and I will show you a clip of this, and hopefully I'll be able to find a slow-mo. She did what no female has ever done before. It is a triple double. It is a triple twist double backflip. There's about 7 or 8 men in the world that do this, I think. It is a very difficult move that needs tons of speed and power to launch you that high in the air. So Simone Biles just performed it. She landed it. She did it 2 nights in a row. It's part of her normal floor routine for whatever the championships that were just on were. She landed it. It's got a crazy difficulty. She's got a vault that's insane, where she does a round off and do a back handspring, and then off the vault does, I think, a double-double, a Biles. So they back handspring into it. So they're coming into the vault facing away from you because they spin and hit it this way. So they're facing away from the vault. They run down, do a back handspring, and when she hits the vault, after the box, the springboard, she's going backwards. She pushes off of it and flies in the air and lands this thing well. And you do enough twists where you land, so it's got to be an uneven twist with a half somewhere. She lands forward. She's 22 or 23 or 24. Gymnastics never has had that kind of capability in the women's. It has for some of the men, Gymnastics, in my time with Tim Daggett and Kurt Thomas and these guys that did the great gymnastics, it's such a brutal sport, brutal being so difficult, with every apparatus having to have superior strength, agility, flexibility, speed, balance for the men and the women, that it wears on your body. Just breaks you down. And without drugs, even with the excessive treatments that they get, and our boy who just went to prison for I think 15 lives because he was a perverse monster like the rest of these fucks, and he touched all the girls. And I don't know if we should have sent him to prison. I think we should have done something much, much worse, in my view, because it goes on all the time. I don't know if it'll ever stop going on, but making a public display of a monster like that abused those poor girls, and then the two Nadi Comaneci, whatever, what the hell, I can't even remember the country because I'm moving all over the place, but the great American coaches, the man and the wife, they're gone. So the American team is no longer coached by and I don't know when that happened, maybe this recent or maybe not, Olympics, but they're gone, and I can't remember their names. Bella Caroli and his wife, the Carolis are gone. And they allowed this monster to abuse these poor girls, right? And Simone Biles and Ali Reisman, and there's a number of them, right? That dude screwed with every gymnast, every female top-level gymnast, and then tons below it. And then at the University of Michigan, everywhere that he was a fucking monster. I apologize for sidetracking. This is supposed to be a celebration of a free greatest of all time, Simone Biles, triple-double. So, gymnastics evolved to an age of optimization where you're in your mid-teens. The men, it's a little later. It's probably late teens, meaning before college, but prior to full-grown adulthood. The Russians had a program where they fed them all drugs, so you had older Russians, 22, 23, 24, 25 for men. The men they've always seemed to be a little more able later in life to continue to perform at that top level. Simone Biles she's changing that optic. She's changing that paradigm. She's older. She didn't get heavy. She's more powerful. She's more developed. She's doing moves as a full-grown female that has clearly worked on her strength, her conditioning. And now she is in the peak of her young adult power doing men's moves. Men's on the floor exercise and shared apparatuses and even unshared vault, she's doing moves that the men can do that challenge female gymnastics. And it's awesome to see, because when you see her, she's like 4 foot nothing, and she's thick. She looks like the type of person where you're like, oh, this chick's gonna do some freaky shit, and she does. She flies higher, stronger, faster. Just awesome. So she's setting a new trend. We'll see this in 2020. Injury aside, Simone Biles is setting a standard. I guess that's why the Chinese and the Russians have to take drugs. You have to compete with this poor girl. And she is a super-de-duper rock star. So applaud it, love it, enjoy it, follow some gymnastics. I don't know who's in the males. I don't see anything like her in the male gymnastics realm for the U.S. I'm sure there are some good gymnasts. We always produce good gymnasts, but the program doesn't seem to have that oomph that it used to. So I don't know. It seems like our Eastern Bloc, our Chinese, our European gymnasts are pretty much the cat's meow these days. So, we'll have to see, but I wanted to celebrate Simone Biles. Awesome stuff. Dave DY Show, comment, like, subscribe, share, whatever. Coming at you.